It's World Product Day! Today is World Product Day, a day the global product community sets aside to celebrate the craft, the community, the people behind the products that shape how we live. How exciting is that? And I want to use today to do something a little bit different. A little confession though, I had a whole production plan in my head, nice interview style. But I was like, Miracle, who are you deceiving? You're not going to shoot this video. So here we are. We're still going to shoot this video, even if we don't have all we need right now. But next year it will be different. Anyway, happy World Product Day to all who celebrate. Today, like I said, I want to do something different. I'm not going to be talking about frameworks. I'm not going to share tips and tricks and all those good stuff. They are good, probably. You have to subscribe so that you'll be the first to know when I drop all of those after this video. Today, I want to share my story. If you're watching this and you're wondering if product management is for you or whether someone like you could actually make it in the industry, I want you to see yourself in what I'm about to share. This is how being a product manager changed my life. Let's get into it. If you're new here, hi, my name is Miracle, but you can call me ProductSis. And on this channel, I share practical insights to help you think better about product, go from idea to product, and grow in your product career with intention. You see, I started this channel for product professionals and builders who are looking for a space where product feels less theoretical and more practical, where you can develop the kind of mindset and skills that actually help you navigate the messy, complex work of building products. Whether you are breaking into product, growing in your PM career, or you're building something of your own, this space is for you. Welcome. Again, like I said, today is World Product Day. I know someone is asking, ProductSis, it's World Product Day. How are we celebrating? Where's the wine? Where's the juice? And honestly, to tell you I had to force myself to shoot this video, we just have water. So you're going to bear with me and let's just get into the deets. All right. Let's start from the beginning. I was supposed to be a doctor, guys. If you are like me and you grew up in a Nigerian household, you'll know that when it comes to career paths, medicine was one of those top careers that our parents actually considered to be lucrative, to be honorable and things like that. And so naturally, growing up, I wanted to be a doctor. In fact, I wanted to be the next Ben Carson. I wanted to be a neurosurgeon specifically, but you can see that's not the case today. So yeah, growing up, I wanted to be the next Ben Carson. That was the plan because that was what made sense at the time. What the people around me understood, what felt like the right path for a girl who was clearly driven, clearly curious. Oh my God. I was a very curious child growing up. I'm still very curious. I like to say curiosity is my superpower as a product manager. And yeah, clearly driven, curious, and wanted to do something meaningful in this world. But before any of that, like talking about career decision and all, I want to take us back a little bit. So before uni, before any form of career conversation, there was a cyber cafe. See, my mom ran a cyber cafe growing up. And for those of you who did not grow up with one nearby, back then, especially for uni student professionals, a cyber cafe was everything. It was where people came to type documents, print things, make photocopies, where you could buy time on a computer to gain access to the internet. It was really, really fun time. I was there all the time. After school, I'll come to the cyber cafe to help my mom out. At the same time, driven by my curiosity, of course, you'll find me with these computers, just learning how they work just by interacting with them, the photocopies and all of that. Yes, I had fun with the computers. I didn't really get to that point where, there are some people that they like to tinkle and, I want to build a system and I didn't get to that point. But yeah, I was just so curious and interested in probably the software part of things because sometimes, to tell you, I really wanted to go into medicine. I mean, it wasn't my core desire, but me, I like taking responsibilities for my actions and decisions. So On some days you'll find me doing like virtual surgery games and things like that. But my WAEC, for those of us that are from Nigeria, we usually write this exam called WAEC after your high school or during your high school. That's like the last WAEC, NECO, and then there's JAM to get into uni. Interestingly, I got an A1 in my computer science, but again, I didn't really pay attention to it at the time because honestly, it felt like something I was just doing and not something I was building a future on. So I finished my WAEC, my NECO, my JAM. When you put in your application for your JAM, you're expected to choose the universities you want to go to. And so I did that, went in for my JAM, finished my JAM. I can't even remember what I scored, to be honest, but I did not fail. And so I was waiting for my university of choice to release their list, like, so I'll know if I made it or not. Just basically waiting. So while I was waiting to start uni, something shifted. Someone reached out to my mom about a scholarship with NIT. So it was for a tech training program. And it was honestly perfect timing because I was looking for what to do with my time. In our household, idleness is never an option. Growing up, every summer holiday, I was always found doing something. So if it's not teaching, I'm a teacher by heart, purpose, and all. If I'm not teaching, I'm maybe learning a new skill. And so this time was no different. So when this person reached out to my mom, it was just perfect. And so we took on that opportunity. I wrote the exam and I actually got the scholarship. Now, the first day I walked into NIT Port Harcourt, something clicked. I felt at home in a way I did not expect. Like, I felt like, oh, I belong here, if you get what I mean. And for context, I got a scholarship for a 6 months program that was front end development in PHP. Yeah. So I remember going back to my dad and telling him that I didn't want to go back to medicine. And if you know anything about Nigerian fathers, oh my God, it was war. And I promise I'm not exaggerating. It wasn't easy. I remember my late uncle, now God bless his soul. I remember him telling me, oh, why not just go and do the medicine? When you're done with the medicine, then you can pursue your own dreams and like what you want to do. And I was like, eh? Medicine is like 7 years. Sorry, guys, you guys are going to see what my friends see behind the camera. It's like, medicine is like almost 7 years plus. And I want to be a neurosurgeon. So you're telling me I should wait for like 7, 8, 9 years, like before I'll now come back to what I want to do. And so it wasn't a very easy conversation to have with my family, but thankfully they came around and I eventually enrolled in a 2-year software engineering program with NIT. And after that, I came over to the UK to get my BSc. So it was more of a top-up degree. So 2 years in Nigeria and less than a year in the UK, going from professional diploma, which is equivalent to HND, to getting my BSc in less than a year in the United Kingdom. Now, while I was studying, and by studying, I'm talking about while I was still in Nigeria doing my diploma, I was actually working as well. So I worked as a front-end developer, Android developer at some point with a couple of startups. I loved it. Anyone that knows me knows that I started my career in tech. Even my parents, they felt it. I loved coding. I loved coding so much. And so getting the opportunity to actually apply that skill and knowledge in a real working environment meant a lot to me. And so I absolutely enjoyed being a developer and working in those startups. Because if you think about it, I'm a very analytical person. I'm a very system thinking kind of person. And coding definitely scratched that itch. Now, while I loved my time being a developer, something started to bother me. As a developer, we would build, we would shape, and it wouldn't last up to 6 months before it quietly disappeared. And honestly, at the time, I didn't have the language for what was wrong, but I could feel it. We were building things without really knowing who we were building them for or what problem we were actually solving. We were just building. That didn't really sit well with me. Hence the frustration I started feeling. I wanted to be in the full process, not just the development part. I wanted to understand why we were building and for whom and whether it was actually going to matter. Then at university, I came across a module on UX that touched on things like design thinking, user personas, user research, user interviews, and something just clicked. It was like something just opened up in me. I started to see that the gap that I had been feeling between building and actually solving had a name. And honestly, it was perfect timing because at that time I was thinking about, okay, what I wanted to commit to for the long run in terms of my career. And so being in this space where I was learning all these things really, really helped me. And not just that, when I decided, okay, I'd had my fair share of coding. I still loved coding, but I wanted more. I wanted to be in the process. I did not know the name of the role that handled that, but I mean, I knew about user researchers. I knew about different types of career paths that resonated a bit at the time, but it didn't still hit for me. And so I paid attention to the patterns in my life. I noticed that whenever my friends had ideas, they oftentimes come to me, and as much as I didn't have the vocabulary for it at the time, now I know what some of those things are. I was always excited to jump on a call to just dive into the idea with them. Okay, what problem are you solving? Who has this problem? What's their day-to-day like? How are they navigating it without you? What outcomes are you trying to drive for the users? Little things like that. I was doing what we call problem first thinking before I even knew that was a thing. And beyond just the patterns, I wanted something that would also allow me still be close to the engineering side of things, although I didn't want to code anymore, but I just always enjoyed being in conversations with engineers. It's just so fascinating where you go from an abstract idea to something tangible, that process on the technical side. So I still wanted something like that. I also wanted a career where I could engage with business leaders, senior stakeholders, because I wanted to be that bridge between their visionary mind and what is obtainable in real time, right? And so I needed a career that could allow me do that, engage in conversations with these business leaders. If you see me with any executive, see, I'm in my happy place, just leave me there, right? And so I needed something like this. And so I kept on searching, and then I came across product management with a simple Google search. Honestly, my journey as a product manager has been so rewarding, so stretching. Oh my God. Being a product manager and having my kind of personality, reserved, intro, some people will not agree, and that's your business. But yeah, those who know me know I've had to adjust a whole lot. But yes, it has been rewarding. Product management has opened doors for me. I've sat in rooms with my faves that I only dreamt about meeting maybe in the future. I didn't expect the opportunities to work with global companies like Spotify. I've had seats at tables that I once only imagined, and I am deeply grateful for all of it. But that's not the part that changed me the most. Product management has done so much for me as a person. It gave me a framework for being the person I already was. I've always been a curious person, but product management ignited that curiosity even much more. It gave it a room to shine, gave it direction, gave it purpose. In a field that is constantly changing, constantly moving, constantly evolving, you don't just get to be curious. You have to be. Product management helps me deepen my empathy. I've always cared about people, but product management taught me to be curious about people, not just compassionate towards them. There is a difference. Compassion feels for someone. Curiosity actually takes it a step further, leans in, and asks, what is actually going on for you? Why do you do what you do? Why does it cost you when things don't work? That shift changed how I show up at work, in my relationship with people, in conversations, in how I listen. Product management expanded how I communicate. Most people think that communication is just talking, but product management taught me that communication is context specific. The way you speak to an engineer is not the same way you speak to a designer. It's not the same way you speak to a senior executive. And learning to adapt consciously and intentionally made me a sharper thinker and a more effective person in every area of my life. Product management broadened my thinking. I've always been that person who brings different perspective into a conversation, but product management trained that muscle. Divergent thinking, convergent thinking, knowing when to open up to the possibilities and when to bring it back down to what's actually feasible and valuable. That's not just a PM skill, that is a life skill. Another way product management has changed my life is that product management showed me that things you learn as a product manager don't stay at work alone. They spill over into how you see problems, how you navigate uncertainty, how you lead, how you collaborate, how you communicate, how you build relationships with people, how you make decisions when there is no obvious right answer. It's a way of life. I'm a big believer that the skills you learn as a product manager are essential skills that carry you throughout life. They shape how you see the world, really. Happy World Product Day to every product professional, builder, aspiring product person watching this. You are part of something global, something that matters, and you belong here. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and yes, drop a comment in the comment section. It's our day, we are celebrating. If you're a product professional out there, let me know in the comment section, how has product management changed your life? I'll be reading every single comment. See you in the next one.